Good morning everyone, thanks for tagging along. Today I'm going to walk the east of the village with a sort of vague aim of getting to Stanley Pontlarge, which is barely a village, it's just a couple of houses and a very old church a few fields away, well, several fields away. First I've got to thrash my way through the undergrowth here beside the steam railway line and get out into the countryside. Man, this is overgrown. And here it is. Our escape route. Let's get out there into some green. It's shaping up to be a beautiful day. Absolutely sheer, clear blue skies. And I almost didn't make it out. I had all my kit laid out, my shoes, my backpack. I'd even filled my flask. I was feeling a bit lazy, a bit like not doing it. But the thought of the day wearing on and me sitting at home looking out the window at blue skies, and I'd feel bad later on that I didn't get out and enjoy it. Which on the one hand is a bit of a shame, I guess, turning a walk into a chore. Telling yourself you've got to do it for your health and your mental health. I suppose that's the Protestant work ethic, turning everything into a task, everything into work. But we're out here now. The horse is already over there in the corner, seeking out some shade. Potentially hot later on. Hopefully not too hot. I checked the forecast and it should peak about 20 degrees. Join the Ramblers, which is a UK walking group. Wonderful organisation, keeps all the sort of footpaths around here open. But they go out throughout the summer. And I went out in about 25-degree heat, and it was an absolute killer walking 9 miles through the Malverns. And 25 degrees, that may not sound much to people of other countries, but there's something about the humidity in Britain, or the fact that we're just not used to hot weather, and our buildings, public buildings, shops aren't rigged with proper air conditioning. It makes it very difficult to tolerate that kind of heat. But today's pretty nice. There's a bit of a breeze as well, which makes all the difference. A lot of blossom around today. The trees are finally shedding what remains of their stuff. It smells like falling snow. There's a blizzard of it. What's that sign? It's for the farmer's benefit. It's turned to face the field. It's part of this electric fence. A lot of the fields around here have these sort of rows of white tape running around the edge, and that's the electric fence. If you look close, it's a sort of nylon tape with a wire running through it. This is interesting. Let's squeeze around here. I've actually been zapped by an electric fence a couple of times. Wah. Ducking through. See the woods on that hill? You can go up there, and I'm sure we will one of these other days when I summon the energy. I was walking through those woods and got zapped a couple of times because the path ran alongside an area of woodland that I think the farmer had fenced off for pheasants. There's loads of pheasants in this neck of the woods. And I suppose some of them are wild, but some of them are deliberately cultivated by farmers to eat themselves, I suppose, or, you know, shoot and sell. Debate the morality of that, but that's what they do. And I think they'd fenced off a section of this woodland so that the pheasants could sort of grow up in peace. There were tubs of water and tubs of grain out for them. And they'd strung, it turned out, electric fencing at about knee level, which I assume is to deter foxes trying to get at the pheasants. I got zapped a couple of times. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. You sort of imagine it's going to be like this high voltage jolt, like an electric chair, but I suppose if it was that bad, they wouldn't allow it to be thrown across the countryside randomly. Too dangerous. It's very much like a tens machine. I don't know if you've ever tried those. It's one of those sort of muscle stimulation gadgets where you slap a couple of electrodes on your arm or your shoulder, or whatever's hurting, and you crank it up and it induces a little muscle spasm. You can go from low to high depending on your tolerance. I suppose it's a quick equivalent of a massage if you can't afford to go for a proper sports or therapeutic massage. An electric fence is very like a high, sort of one of those turned up high. Brushed against my leg and my calf sort of cramped up, and I was tingly for a couple of minutes. And I gotta be honest, I don't even think it was unpleasant. It certainly wasn't painful. But it's sufficiently disruptive that I'm not inclined to grab this tape right here for fun. Alrighty, now we're coming up on the steam railway line that's been running to our left. We're directly beside it. And now we've got a crossover. Let's climb across. It's around about 10 o'clock. That's when I finally got my act together and got out of the house. And the trains don't normally start running till about 10:30. I'm not actually sure if any trains are running today at all. Great Western Railway, which is the sort of charity that runs this steam train for fun. They have a calendar on their website which shows you what trains are running, if it's all. And today was weird because there's usually a calendar with dots on it. If there's a blue dot on a day, they're running their sort of blue schedule. If it's a green dot, that means they're running both steam and an old diesel train. And today was just blanked out brown. I don't know what that means. If there's no trains, they just normally leave it blank. My best guess is it's just a glitch on the website. A few jets passing overhead, I don't know if you can see them. We're on a flight route from Europe to America. And if you get your plane identifier app going, you see a lot of cargo and passenger flights from Switzerland and France and Germany flying right overhead on the way across the Atlantic. Now, what's going on here? Last time I crossed this field there were sheep. The sheep are fine. Now we've got a field full of cows. I don't mind cows, it's not like they're going to charge. Bulls, legitimately, will charge. So I don't want to mess with them. I'm not a big fan of crossing fields with cattle. But on the other hand, I'm a big fan of getting to that gate on the other side. Well, the cows have all moseyed onto the centre of that field. I'm not sure if it's a pick-up point for being milked or fed or something. Sure, a bit later they'll all be heading to the trees to get some shade. In the meantime, we will head on this way. Just looking at Gotherington Station over there. I think I heard a train whistle. And the signal's in the down position. I don't know enough about train signals to know whether that means there's a train coming or not. In the meantime, let's get over this stye. Well, I'm waiting for the train to show up and it's just stopped behind some trees over there. In the meantime, I'm watching these contrails. Hear that? Sounds like we're back in action. I don't know what the hold-up was. It's going to come through in a sec, I think. I Don't know if it's going to stop or just steam on through. I'll just cut through that buttercup meadow. Loads of butterflies. Wasn't able to capture any on film though. Fluttering elusively. That's the train. Stopped for a minute or two whilst everyone feeds and waters themselves. And in the meantime, we're going to head on down this way and cut across the new route I found last time I was out. It's cutting across the back of that cottage over there. You hear a jet overhead. Usually they fly too high to hear. There's the train starting up. It's heading the other way, so there's no point trying to turn around and photograph it. It's mid-morning now. It's not too hot. It's very warm. There is a nice breeze. The path cuts through this rather ramshackle farmstead just up here. Man, that's a clear day. Look at that colour. Absolutely sheer pinprick clarity today. I came out for walks like these during the COVID lockdown. If you lived in the countryside, you had the real luxury of being able to just go out and wander in the fields without fear of exposing anybody or spreading the disease. And acutely aware that loads of people in urban environments weren't able to do that. The astonishing thing was, once all the traffic had stopped, and you're getting a bit of traffic off the road there, the air was brilliantly clear. You don't realise how much dust and exhaust pollution clouds the sky. until the traffic just stopped for a day or two. And the air was just, it was a pleasure to breathe. That's where we are, in case you're wondering. Now we've got to cut across this field. I'm not sure if it's to take a path around or through, but they've got these furrows, these tractor ruts. So maybe I'll be okay if I just walk on these. Dang, look at these guys over here. Big buzzards dive bombing each other. Hope you can see that. I mean, no, it's very, very distant, but they are big, pterodactyl big. See them? Holy cow. I'll try and zoom back on them if they get any closer. In the meantime, let's head this way. Now, this is about as far as I got last time. This is a new section of the map to me. When I say new section, it's about a new centimetre. And I did the classic thing of crossing the wrong field. If you just cross the field on the wrong side of the hedge, you end up checkmated by barbed wire. I went into that field. I think what I should have done is go into this one. There were cattle here last time, but there's none at the moment. Actually, I think what I meant to do was go into this field, but not stay in it. It's that hedge right there. I should have gone through a gate and out the other side. This is where it gets ludicrously swampy. Wish me luck. Whoa! Ankle deep. Straight. Thank the Lord for the big boots. Okay, let's get through here. Don't know if you can see over this hedge here, but if you squint in the far distance, you can see a white building. And that is a manor house that's owned by the artist Damien Hirst. And he has covered it in white polythene. And it's been that way for 5 or 6 years now. And I think it was done, I think he said it was for renovations, but I think clearly it was an art piece he just didn't want planning permission for. And it's been the absolute blight of the locals, who do not appreciate whatever artistic point he was trying to make. I would rather he took it all down and sold the place if he's not going to use it, and restore it to its proper function. Back now. I've been thwarted yet again, ladies and gentlemen. The next phase of my walk to Stanley Pontlarge took me across a field, and it was full of crops. It was full of kale, cabbage, sort of looked like that kind of thing, with no visible route across. The public right of way is mapped as going across it diagonally. Nobody had obviously walked that way for a long while. And there's no way to do it without kicking through this farmer's crop, which is the kind of thing I don't like to do. So I need to go back and check the map. I didn't bring the map out with me the one day. I did bring the map, an absolute school error. I need to check routes. It's alright, it's part of the pleasure of walking in the countryside, is coming out to get lost and explore. And I just gotta, next step is to battle my way through this gate. Because this is the swampy gate. It's where you gotta try and step in a place where you're not gonna sink utterly. Pheasants screeching at each other in that woodland over there. It's the top of Digston Hill. We're going to cut back across this field here. With barbed wire. So flooded it's like a stream. I think that silty bit in the middle's okay. That's not too bad, that was a good shot. Oof. Nothing out. There's always something different to look at each time you're out. Even if, like me, you tend to walk the same routes. There's this clear blue sky. I've become preoccupied with the contrails of aircraft heading to and from mainland Europe. See more over there if you can see them. Onward home. The air's become very still, which is great, means sound travels. Not much of a cooling breeze. See what the cows are up to. Yeah, they're all in the shade of that tree over there. I'll skirt around the edge of the field. Winding my way home now. I'm going to check the map. One of these days I will get to Stanley Pontlarge. It will no longer be a thing of myth. In the meantime, thanks for tagging along.